Building the framework. The event-driven architecture, EDA, is the vital IT framework of real-time business. In an EDA, information is available from and can be transmitted to all nodes on the network. New information derived from analytical programs can also be fed back to the network for further consumption. On a micro basis, each business unit absorbs its relevant information and feeds it back to the network to be utilized by other interested parties. On a macro basis, the EDA turns information into corporate knowledge and, with the appropriate processes in place, makes that knowledge actionable. Isolated islands of information don't exist in an EDA. The entire organization makes decisions and acts upon up-to-date and complete information. It is important to recognize the difference between an EDA and the traditional request-reply approach, in which users must determine where information is stored and then request a copy. Finding the right information is a hit-and-miss task, and there is no guarantee that it will be the most up-to-date version or exactly what the user wants. We have all experienced, for example, the flotsam served up by the internet search engines that were designed to help automate the request-reply model. In contrast, an EDA automatically serves up fresh and relevant information to each user on a corporate network, without anybody requesting, for example, a report or an update. On the internet, services such as Google's News Alert, which emails news on a specific topic, are closer to what I mean by an EDA. However, Google Alert still requires users to specify what text they hear upon a out, while a pretty EDA will automatically select relevant topics based on the job functions of an individual. A business with EDA makes decisions with the latest information, enabling it to respond much faster to any change. The business becomes a learning company because each activity that occurs is analyzed by the entire network. It can then trend activate them in real time. Moreover, EDA does not stop boundaries the internal business network. It may consume and process information from customers and other third parties. The EDA is fundamental to real-time operation and provides the underpinnings of predictive business. Proliferating the information bus. As we developed this transformational method of delivering information, I realized that the power of this technology was more than a mere unraveling of twisted data. It was a logical compounding of information that grew richer at each turn. I saw that we could augment the simple report fluctuation stocks by feeding those change reports into applicant programs to create wide-ranging analyses and then automated trading decisions. These higher functions in turn created new data, which we instantaneously fed back into the network for other traders to use. The result was an upward spiraling, endless, closed feedback loop of incrementally enriched, refined, and integrated information. This signaled the birth of the event-driven, competitively differentiated company. From here, it was a small step to realizing that an information bus was of value to not only the financial services industry, but to any kind of business. At its heart, the key to real-time operations was closed-loop, continuous information feedback. You can instantaneously look at what is being sold, determine where it is being sold, and analyze the sales mix. The time spent reviewing this information cut drastically, and accuracy is greatly improved because information is managed orchestrated based on event impact change. With this technology, fundamental business processes such as forecasting, pricing, manufacturing, and store stock can be constantly monitored and adjusted to changing circumstances. Chapter 3. The power to predict time data. Thoroughly understanding the unique business processes that give the company its edge is critical, as is the ability to change those processes at will. The best-performing companies are self-aware, learning organizations where change is an accepted part of daily life. A predictive business does not sit on its laurels. Competitive advantage is maintained through continuing advances, each of which provides a temporary edge. Before diving into more detail, I should say something about what predictive business isn't. It is emphatically not about ditching past investments, nor is it about ripping out the old and replacing with something new. It will take an investment prerequisites to operating as a predictive business. I am making a fundamental assumption that exemplary execution against best practice customer satisfaction is the company's mantra. None of us has a crystal ball to foresee the future, but seizing opportunities and avoiding missteps should be routine. Events can be captured, analyzed, and acted upon. You must, of course, be motivated and ready to take up the challenge. Events don't happen in isolation. They are the culmination of event patterns, which can be recognized and understood through careful analysis of both historical and real-time data. Thoroughly understanding the unique business processes that give the company its edge is critical, as is the ability to change those processes at will. The best-performing companies are self-aware, learning organizations, where change is an accepted part of daily life. A predictive business does not sit on its laurels. Competitive advantage is maintained through continuing advances, each of which provides a temporary edge. Before diving into more detail, I should say something about what predictive business isn't. It is emphatically not about ditching past investments, nor is it about ripping out the old and replacing with something new. It will take an investment in human resources and technology, but the rewards and the upside potential are huge. When I talk to company leaders about predictive business, I often see the light bulb effect. They recognize the potential of this approach and see it as a natural progression of real-time business practices. An efficient and flexible IT infrastructure, capable of capturing events and data in real time, is also a prerequisite for predictive business. However, technology doesn't provide silver bullets. There has to be top-level motivation, a will to succeed, and a willingness to try new things. Some will work and some won't. When people ask broad questions like, how can we influence customers' behavior so they stay loyal to our brand? Or, what's missing in the marketplace that we could maybe do? Then the company is at the start of that transformational process. I once heard a CEO who exhorted his management team in the following terms. I want you to come up with 10 ideas a week. I don't care that 9.5 of them are crazy. We'll make fortunes for the company out of the half an idea that works. Those are the words of someone who is fostering innovation, imagination, and risk-taking. Predicting the now. Perfect knowledge doesn't exist. We may think it exists, we may wish for it, but the reality is different. If we are to be effective as business managers, then we have to be rooted in what is achievable now. We cannot, for instance, be 100% sure what will happen at any one time. At the most minute level, I cannot know with any certainty that human frailty or natural disaster will not interrupt my business. I may get ill. One of my key employees may be in a car accident. My office building may be without power, or traffic may prevent me from attending a critical customer meeting. These are the kinds of unpredictable events that none of us can foresee. In some cases, we may be able to predict an event, but not its magnitude or the effect it will have. Hurricane Katrina and the tsunami in Southeast Asia are recent examples. We may have contingency plans in place, a deputy who can take my place if I am unwell, a deep bench of executives who can stand in for one another, backup plans for emergency office accommodation, and perhaps even a hot site that duplicates my critical data center functions. If I cannot attend a meeting in person, I might have a video conferencing facility at the ready. Most of us make some contingency plans as we strive to control the future, but it is impossible to plan for every eventuality. In business transactions, the story is much more complex because generally there are numerous actual and potential variables. Since we are inevitably engaged in complex relationships with other people, it is pointless to seek 100% predictability. We intuitively know that people are, by their very nature, unpredictable. It is what defines us as humans and provides the backdrop for diversity. What we should and can do, however, is embrace uncertainty to clarify those events over which we can exercise a degree of control. We should analyze past and real-time events to spot patterns, so we can take corrective actions for future events in ways that lead to desirable outcomes. We are, in essence, reducing the level of uncertainty to manageable proportions and ensuring that we will get it right more often than in the past. It is time to cast aside skepticism about the opportunity to predict outcomes and avoid negative business consequences. Leading thinkers in this field, such as David Luckham, Stanford professor and author of The Power of Events, and Ken McGee of Gartner Incorporated, author of Heads Up, have provided significant evidence that predictive business is ready for prime time. My own conversations with executives have further proven that they can detect and take action in ways they never thought possible, even 2 or 3 years ago. Let's explore the science of prediction a bit further.